Hey everybody, welcome to the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. I'm Ty Glenn. You're listening to this on either YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you get your local podcast streaming form. So today we got some hockey news to break down for you. It's not a whole lot, but we're going to break down some. So Dave Pastrnak scored the overtime game-winning goal a minute and 54 seconds into overtime as the Bruins. They win 2-1 against the Toronto Maple Leafs in Game 7. And so for that, they take the series 4-3, and they will face the Florida Panthers in the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Now, the Panthers, they got there by winning in 5 games against the Tampa Bay Lightning. That's their first playoff series win against the Lightning because these two teams, they met in the playoffs like 3 times. The Lightning won the previous 2 in 2021 and 2022. And so the Panthers, 2 years later, they win a playoff series against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, as for the Bruins and Leafs, this is the 4th time that the Leafs have lost a Game 7 to the Boston Bruins. We already know 2013, 2018, 2019, and of course 2024. Now the Leafs, they got lucky last year, but they didn't get lucky this year as the Bruins took them out like they always have. And the Leafs, they still continue their Stanley Cup drought. They haven't won the Stanley Cup since when? 1967. That's been a while. I don't know what was going on in 1967, the last time the Leafs won the Stanley Cup. But after Hampus Lindholm scored the game-tying goal in the third period, minute 21 after the William Nylander goal in the third, David Pastrnak ends in overtime. And the shots, they were even in this game. Toronto had 31 shots on goal. Boston Bruins had 31 shots on goal. So it was all evened up right there. And this was a great game, nonetheless, despite the Leafs, of course, losing. I really liked this game. Both goalies were certainly in it. It was a close game too, so that was kind of intense as well. These Game 7s always get intense. So I thought both teams played great, but it was the Bruins that ended up getting the winner. And Jim Montgomery, the Bruins head coach, said that David Pastrnak needed to step up, and David Pastrnak has certainly stepped up right there in Game 7. So great win for the Bruins, and they'll be facing the Panthers in round 2. Now, we all know what happened last year when the Bruins took on the Panthers. They led the series 3-1. They choked it. They lost in overtime in Game 7 on a goal from Carter Verhaeghe. I thought they were going to do the same thing this year, but hey, that was the Panthers. This is the Leafs, so it kind of didn't surprise me that the Bruins had won Game 7 right there against Toronto. Now, I'm going to be recapping the games from May 3rd. So, Canucks, Predators, Game 6. Pius Suter scores the game-winning goal with 1:39 seconds remaining in the third period as the Canucks shut out the Predators for the Game 6 win. They win the series 4-2 as well. And for that, they will face the Edmonton Oilers in the second round. And the Oilers got there by, of course, eliminating the LA Kings in 5 games for the third straight year. But except the only difference was in 2022, 2023, they got it done in 7. In 2024, they get it done in 5. So it'll be nice to see that second round matchup between Vancouver and Edmonton. I think the Canucks are 4-0 in their regular season series meets against the Edmonton Oilers, so it will be a tough battle right there in the Stanley Cup playoffs for the Oil squad. Arturius Slivasov, or however you pronounce that name, I'm trying to pronounce it right, but he made 28 saves for the Vancouver Canucks right there, so he was certainly another factor in that Canucks win. And in the series overall, after Thatcher Demko was out and after, Casey DeSmith had like other problems, so he was certainly a factor in that series. So certainly made a name for himself all in all. Anyway, moving on to the Vegas Golden Knights and Dallas Stars series. So the Golden Knights, they stay alive. They don't get eliminated at home. They shut out the Stars for that Game 6 win. And for that, they force a Game 7 in Dallas, which will come on today. at 6:30 p.m. Central Time on TBS, True TV, and HBO Max. Noah Hannafin, he scored the game-winning goal in the third period to give the Golden Knights that win, and Mark Stone, he added an empty netter to seal the deal. Now, Jake Ottinger, I have seen him in Game 7 before. Going back to round one of that 2022 Stanley Cup playoffs against the Calgary Flames, where he had made 64 saves in overtime for the Stars to win Game 7. I thought that was a great Game 7 right there, despite the Stars losing in overtime. I don't know what the result will be in tonight's Game 7. But overall, he is 1-1 in Game 7s. He did win one Game 7 against the Kraken in the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs last year before losing to the VGK in the conference finals. So that should be a great Game 7. I can't wait to see who comes out with the win. I got the Stars winning on my playoff bracket, but I don't know if the Golden Knights will ruin that for me in tonight's game. Winning in Dallas like they did last year in the conference finals. But I know most people are predicting that the Stars will win, and a few other people are predicting that the Golden Knights will win. But we'll see if the Golden Knights Stanley Cup run continues, if they'll be eliminated or not in tonight's Game 7. Now, another game that's also going to be coming on today is round 2 of the Hurricanes and Rangers playoff series. I did not expect this game to be coming on the same day as round 1 of the Golden Knights and Stars series, but that's what the NHL did. So it gives you a little bit of a short preview in this one. So the Rangers, we all know how they got there. They swept the Capitals to move on, and the Hurricanes, they won in 5 against the New York Islanders. Now, I did see this coming. I had it on my playoff bracket. As you guys can see my video on YouTube. There's probably no point in watching it now. But if you did see it, you'll know that I predicted that this matchup will happen. But it would have been nice to see a battle of New York Islanders Rangers playoff rivalry right there. The Hurricanes, they won in the qualifying round against the Rangers in 2020. That was during the bubble. That was during COVID. And then the Rangers, 2 years later, they won in 7 games against the Hurricanes in 2022. And 2 years later, again, they're going to be facing off each other for the third straight playoff meeting. So that should be a good series all in all. I mean, 2 great teams. I don't know if the Rangers will. I don't really want to say. It is tough playing against Carolina. I see the series going to 7 games. I don't know who will take Game 1 today. Probably the Hurricanes will probably take Game 1, but we shall see. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this podcast. So not really that much to talk about, but in general, my podcast would probably be like 30 minutes, if not longer. A 30-minute podcast. But this was just a short podcast because this was our very first podcast that we're doing. And I just want to get a good feeling for it. So, yeah. So, if you enjoyed this podcast, of course, follow me on Spotify or wherever you get your local podcast streaming platforms. And make sure you subscribe to the TG Hockey channel on YouTube. Really trying to get to 400 subscribers on there. And, yeah, hopefully you guys have a nice day and enjoy Game 7 between the Golden Knights and Stars. And, of course, round 2 of the Hurricanes and Rangers playoff matchups. And I'll see you guys tomorrow to break down a preview of round 2 for the other Stanley Cup playoff teams. And, of course, recap Game 1 between the Hurricanes and Rangers. So, peace.